So what's being suggested is, I'm sure that this has been heard before, but let's take it a little bit further. This is the end of self-improvement. Aside from the obvious that there's no me to improve, there's no self to improve, the apparent conceptual me, the illusion is very, very tricky in maintaining its reality, that it seemingly goes underground, that it thinks it can improve by self by being a no me. It thinks it can improve the self by being a no self. So kind of like self-improvement in Rogue. So it's going to be hard to hear this, but let's just say it. Most seekers are self-improvement junkies. In denial. But it's tired with maintaining the lie. It hears it, but it doesn't want to admit it. It wants to keep the lie alive by maintaining itself. So if I lose the self, then things will be better. If there's a no me, all my problems will be solved. And then they'll say that when I say that there's no me as experienced by a me, it's much better than a me because there's no me being told by a me. So it's basically self-improvement incognito. So even the I am that is just self-improvement. The dream of enlightenment is just self-improvement. Because there's no self to get enlightened, there's no self to improve, so everything is basically a hoax. So maintaining the self is a hoax. Even not maintaining the self is a maintenance. It's a reinforcing that there's a self. So awareness, being aware, is self-improvement. Because awareness is just basically the me. Consciousness is the me. Because everything that's produced by a me is a me. So there's no way out of the me. It's just really self-improvement in disguise. It's about practicing awareness or concentration of the me, trying to become more aware of the me, more skilled at paying attention at the me. Focusing on the me, clinging to the present of the me, clinging to the breath of the me, clinging to the sensations, clinging to concentration of the me. Oh, there's the impression it's about developing an insight or kindness of the me. See what I'm saying? So awareness is the me, consciousness is of the me, so every teaching is of the me. The me can never get out of the me can't out me itself. Even a no me is just an idea. It's all an illusion, it's all a story. And it's quite ridiculous and quite funny at the same time that it's easy to get trapped in this, especially when there's a belief that there's a me or a self, that there's a no self already. Oh yeah, you know what, I listened to this character because it's really clear that there is no me there. But that's the me perceiving, which is also going to perceive another me, or a no me, which is the same. It's really funny. It's really, really funny. Because, sometimes, when I was in the breakout room at some of these meetings with some of the, like Tony and everything, there's a comparison of teachers. There's this teacher that has less of a me. And then it just goes over and over again. So what's being suggested is what seems to be appearing is what is, that there's no self to improve or there's no self to lose. Because simply there's no self. And what's being suggested here, what appearing is already as it is. It's the humility in this grandioseness of thinking that there's a self that can do or undo itself. You can't undo something that's not quite there. You can't, because there's no you that can. And that's the unconditional liberation of this. There's this seeing that it's a mystery until it's not. It's an illusion until it's not. It's reality until it's not. And even if these statements are flip-flopping, if you notice it, the flip-flopping, the awakeness or not, the me or no me is an illusion. It's just what it is. It can't be put into words. The description of this is that the believer of the me and the no me is the one that dies. The belief that there's something to do, that there's a doer, that there was a doer before, that there was something that needed to drop away, because no one drops away, no one disappears because it was not already there. So it's the end of the self and the no self. It's the end of the me and the no me, because it's just really self-improvement incognito. This is just a story. So when this character, got into this, it was a self-improvement junkie. It got into meditation. It got into, it went to ashrams. It did some karma. It's to improve the me. It's to it's to be a higher me. So the me can feel that it's special. So the me can feel that it's, when it becomes a no me, then it will become this. But what's being expressed here is that there's nothing wrong with any of that. There's nothing wrong or right at all. It's just what's happening. So in this immediacy and this directness of this, there's neither a me or a no me. It's just what is. It's not about identification or misidentification. It's not about conscious or unconsciousness, because those are just ideas of the me. But there's nothing wrong with these ideas. As mentioned earlier, what seems to be appearing is already freedom as it is. It's unconditional freedom. So if somebody wants to meditate, to concentrate on the me, that's no problem. If somebody wants to, meditate or to practice awareness by losing the me, so what? But when there's a scene that none of that is really necessary, because it just reinforces the me. It just perpetuates this me over and over and over again. So that's why, it's kind of like, I've been there, I've done that. There was nothing to lose because it was not there in the first place. So there's this seeming kind of like a hypnotic. The me is like a hypnotism, that I am real, that I am here, that I can change, that I can improve, that I can do myself, I can do and undo myself, that there's a doer. So when the doership, when the doingness is the one that's seen as, oh, it's just automatic, there's nothing happening. Every single utterance of a word is trying to point to dualism. Every word basically is a maintenance of separation. That's why there's sometimes, people say that it's quite difficult to communicate. It's actually not that hard. But seemingly, the understanding of it seems to be difficult because what's being expressed is very simple. All that I've said basically is there's no me or a me. Because when you say there's a no me, then it perpetuates that there was a me in the first place. But somehow it has to be communicated in language. When I say that there's no Emerson, there's never been an Emerson. There's never been anyone here. And it's just what's happening. So I like the simplicity sometimes of this communication when it's expressed that it's just what's happening. And what's happening is this mystery until it's not. It's a paradox until it's not. But those are just idea, because this or that, fluctuations here and this, flip-flopping, meaning being, it's just the oscillation. So when it's seen that the oscillation is just normal, it's not about getting rid of the meing or the being because both are illusions. It's seeing through it. It's the ta-da! It's all a trick. It's all an illusion. It's all a story. There's no hierarchy in illusion. There's no hierarchy in stories. It's all the same. And so this is kind of like a self-improvement in recovery. Most of the people here that come here, they've usually been doing this being for the past 10 years or 20 years or got really, really, really into it. Maybe some people have gone to ashrams, followed gurus, saying, become a monk. Done all of that. It's all about this denial that it's actually a self-improvement junkie, because there's something wrong. But since there's no wrong or right, there's nothing wrong. So this apparent, trying to find, trying to seek and everything is just not accepting what it is. But the non-acceptance is also perfect. It is what it is. No matter what it is as it is. And the trying to improve what it is perpetuates or creates this madness and suffering. I'm not quite there yet. I'm almost there. I was there. That's the worst. If I was there, there was a no me and it was lasted for 2 days. But the me is back. There's no need to come back. And it's not an experience that there was a me or a me. It's just seeing through, because there's no history really. Again, as I was mentioning earlier, it's just kind of like a continuation of that. That the glimpse and the glimpser is the illusion. So the one that fluctuates back and forth is the illusion. The one that's blissful one day, the one that is feeling bonded, like in bondage one day, is what is happening. And this talk actually could be triggering. It could be this resistance, because it's kind of like, it's kind of like when you're calling out a lie, and then there's an admittance that doesn't want to admit it. That seemingly all of this apparent happening is not happening. This apparent me was never there in the first place. This apparent seeking never took place. Because all that there is this. And the one that maintains this is that me mechanism that's not even real. The story generated by that's coming out like, I was seeking for this time, and I had a blackout moment attending this, it's a maintenance. And there's nothing wrong or right about that. It's just seeing through. It's kind of like I think I was talking to Jonathan about that. The movie is called The Holy Mountain. It's about this seeker, or like a kind of like a Messiah figure, and it has some disciples, and they were doing all of these practices at the end. And at the very end, there was the fourth wall. The camera became the fourth wall, that it was just all an illusion, meaning it pulled back out. And there was just cameras, and it's just a set. This is a movie set. There's no me here. It's a movie set. There's no one in it. It's just a set. It's a setup. But no one's being set up. If you have any questions, please go ahead.
So,
Hi, Petra.
If I had the idea, if there was no me, there would be no more bad habits like drinking too much or like that. This is the wrong place here.
Yes. So it's the idea that there was something wrong in the first place.
Right.
That there was something that needed to be changed, right? Change happens on its own. Some people apparently, you know what I'm saying, kind of like this character just changed apparently on its own. I didn't have to do anything about it. I didn't have to do any self-improvement, because there's no self to improve. For example, this character was a mess, you know what I'm saying, was doing a whole bunch of stuff. But it was also a really good self, you know what I'm saying, for quite a while, and it messed around, it messed up. And then seemingly it's just seen right now that it is just a happening. There's no one doing any of this. So there's this, the really sticky thing is that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
That's the really, really tricky thing, right? So it
And,
that I somehow I can do or undo myself.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
can make decisions, and in control somehow.
I'm in control, and if I do this, then I won't be drinking anymore or whatever. So it's kind of like um manipulative in a way.
Mm.
It tries to, it's kind of like gaslighting, manipulating, but there's nothing wrong or right about that. It's just a function of it, and it's not even real. In the dream, there's always going to be a maintenance of reality, and who really maintains the reality? It's the me.
Yeah, but now it's even worse. As long as I thought I have control and I can make myself a better me, there was somehow still hope for the me. But now, um,
There was no
yeah,
me in the beginning, so hope is just an
yeah,
idea of the me, right? It's just another idea. So everything that comes out is just this narrative of the me, of there's
mm,
hope, there's, there's, when it's seen that it's just happening by itself, that this is just, it's just rolling, it's just flowing, and there's nothing that can stop the flow or undo it. And there's nothing wrong or right about the flow. Some apparent people, you know what I'm saying, they all of a sudden they're struck, and they'll call it grace, right? They got struck
mm,
sober or something. Some people get um and then some people, saying some people that are in high pedestals, like this apparent character that was gonna, like, supposedly, what, awake or whatever, when the happening of a tragedy, like um struck it, really, really struck it in depression. It could not get out of it because it was afraid
mm,
of sadness. It did not want to, you know what I'm saying? It was afraid of, but sadness is just what's happening. So it thought it
yeah,
could control it, and when it didn't have any control, it went into deeper despair, thinking that I failed. What did I
yeah,
do? You know what I'm saying?
right,
Because
yeah,
there's this wanting to control the narrative, thinking that
yeah,
it's the narrator, that if I do this, if I do that, or why did I do that? Why did I do this? I'm a
yeah,
step back now, right? So it's just this, when there's unconditional freedom, there's just this easiness of what seems to be happening, seeing that there's no one controlling the show, there's no one running the show, it's just the
but
show. Yeah,
whenever I hear it in the meeting, it's so
it
good. But
is.
but the rest of the week, oh
Because it's now maintaining the lie. In the meeting, what's happening is there's this radical kind of like exposure,
no.
that what seems to be maintained is relaxed, right? There's no me, there's nothing. But when it's left to its own devices, it thinks that it thinks that it can control or it can change, that there's
Mm.
something it can do when there's nothing that needs to be done. It's already free as it is, but your idea of free is
Yeah, I get
is about improvement.
yeah,
Yeah.
I get stuck when it comes to decisions somehow. I mean, there's no one deciding, just happens. Nevertheless, I find myself, oh, what shall I do? Shall I have another puppy? Da, 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 da.
Go for it.
So,
I'm just
yeah,
joking. You have no choice anyway. Life is just going to happen as it is. No one's deciding to get a puppy or not to get a puppy. It just happens. And it's also not, since there's no me, I'm going to get a puppy. Or the opposite, since there's no me, I'm not going to get a puppy. It just deludes itself that thinking it did something there.
mm,
It deludes itself thinking that it can do something.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally,
And it's and
totally.
it's it is the delusion that maintains the suffering.
Yeah,
Yeah. So suffering is a delusion.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So
There's
everything's all
nothing.
right.
There's nothing right or wrong with suffering. It's just what's
No,
happening.
it's just what's happening, but there's no one suffering. Um, there's no problem.
No,
There's no problem. You didn't create a problem. You're not a problem. There's no problem.
the problem is that an apparent someone is pretending is making the story real all the time,
Yeah,
even
but
there is no time.
yeah. there's this seeming contradiction, right? That it thinks that it's creating a problem, so it becomes a problem. When there's really no one creating a problem, so when there's no one creating a problem, what is a problem? It's just a seeming perception. It's a delusion. It's an illusion. But it likes to
Okay.
maintain the illusion of a problem.
I don't like it. I'll be back.
Okay, okay. All right. Love you. Okay.
Okay, I'm back.
Hi, Petra.
Next round.
Yes, go for it. Just a second.
No problem. No problems at all. And I'm dead already.
Mm-hmm. But it's not about understanding that, right? It's because
Mhm.
um, understanding, what do you call it, resurrects the dead.
Oh, then I can find my own religion. I can find my own religion. Yeah,
There's
when
no
I
one there.
resurrect.
Even sane petrified. It becomes a zombie actually when it resurrects.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong or right about understanding or thinking, but seeing that all of that that's happening is just this, being, understanding and misunderstanding. It's just this flux. It's just this coming and going. There's nothing wrong with coming and going. It's just not real. So understanding is not even real because it changes. Sometimes you'll understand and you're like, I think I misunderstood that. Or, you know what I'm saying? It changes, it fluctuates. So what's being expressed is just this, the permanence, the apparent permanence is peace that you don't understand. That's why it passes all understanding because it's always peaceful. So the story or the narrator was saying that I have problems. And the peace that passes understanding is always there, saying that, what problems? it it is just always peace. It is unwavering peace. It cannot be changed. It cannot be disturbed. It's always peace. All of this, it's all of this drama that appears. You know what I'm saying? Is sometimes there's drama, sometimes there's no drama. Kind of like what you say. Sometimes when you listen to this, it's like, oh, bliss, bliss, and then 3 days later, you're like, fuck, there's no more bliss. It's always present. The peace that is always present can never ever be challenged. It's undeniable. So even when you're speaking right now, you know that, I'm dead, peace. Even if you resurrect as a zombie, it's always peace too. Even when there's understanding, there's peace, or no understanding is peace. But what all of this understanding, fluctuations, suffering, problem, no problem, me, no me, when there's deep sleep at night, none of that exists. That's the peace that I'm talking about. Or the peace that when you're bawling your eyes out, it's there. When you're happy, it's there. It can never leave. It's the perfect lover. It's the perfect unconditional lover that no matter what you do, push it away, you know what I'm saying? Deny it, reject it, long for it, it's always there. It's always, always there. And that's what's always obvious, that it's always there. And there's always going to be what do you call it? This distortions of what peace is, of what your idea of peace is. That, I have this peace when I'm listening to this, but sometimes when but at times when I'm not listening to this anymore, when chaos arises, then I don't have that peace anymore. See, that's the lie because it's always peace. And there's this chaos that is just going to be temporary. I like the saying, this too will pass. So whatever passes, whatever changes, whatever um, is not real. So this feeling of heaviness sometimes, or kind of like, or this feeling of being lost or being um, found, having contractions or having difficulties or no difficulties at all, are just waves. They come in waves. It's up and down, up and down, up and down, and it's always going to be like that. There's no one controlling it. The uh, the self improvement junkie wants to control it. How do I maintain this? Yeah. But there's
Mm,
nothing wrong or right about that, right? It's just, but when you see that it doesn't really have an effect, no matter what you do, no matter what how much you try, it's always going to be this piece with a sprinkle of flavors. You know what I'm saying? Of
mm,
passing flavors. Sometimes it's sweet,
mm,
sometimes it's nasty, sometimes it's bittersweet, sometimes it's spicy.
mm. Yeah.
But the tongue is always going to be there. No matter no matter what you eat, it's always there.
Mhm,
You
mhm.
can't cut off the tongue.
Yeah, that's good. uh, yeah,
Yeah.
can't can't escape
Yeah.
the unconditional. That's good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good. Good.
Yeah,
The tongue that
I can.
passeth all understanding.
So also sounds like a new religion.
Yeah. It's too
Oh.
spicy. It's too spicy.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's good to laugh about it, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Lori goes, in the story of Emerson, was there a seeming gradual loosening of believing to be a me while listening to this message, or was it an instant? Um, there was a seeming kind of like, listening to this message, it was getting really, really challenged, but it was still believing. So there's this really, really strong belief that I can do it. So when it kept on hitting the wall over and over again, so there was this belief that the me can undo itself. And it kept on saying, I will never get this, I will never get this, I will never get this. So when it was seen, it was this collapse of that belief. Complete collapse. It was just kind of like I was talking to someone, it's like it goes down the drain. It's like autocorrect. Autocorrect. There's this seeming ideas of belief systems and everything. Like, um, someone was talking to me about self-improvement in the breakout room, and this is when this came about. Basically what we're talking about is, I'm like, no, 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 it goes beyond that. Even what seems to be happening is just a self-improvement that goes underground. So there's still little belief sometimes that gets maintained, and it's really tricky, right? It's really tricky because the illusion seems so minute, but it's still an illusion. Again, there's no hierarchy in illusion, it's all an illusion. So when all of the belief system collapsed, there's just this unknowingness. Although I didn't like it, to be honest with you, because the character Emerson was established by beliefs. It believed it was a good kid. It believed that it was whatever belief system. It actually believed at one time that it was holy. I think I talked to Tony about that there was this belief that I was holy. So when that was the belief that, again, it goes really, really underground, right? No matter how much stuff I hear about that there's no one and everything like that, there was this holdback, a holding back of that belief that there is someone special here. So it when the belief can like collapse, the specialness collapsed as well. It was like, damn it, I'm really no one. This is actually a zero. There's just nothing special at all here. It's not holy. It's not. It's this kind of like, when the Matrix movie came out. There's this became kind of like this Neo syndrome that everybody thinks they're Neo now. they get they get into this enlightenment principles and everything because it wants to awaken. It wants to take the blue pill or red pill or whatever. It just becomes this fantasy. Um, but any story, again, any teaching, any story is a maintenance of the me. And it's just yeah. And it's maintaining the belief. It's the belief just goes underground over and over again, right? First it's a belief in, a belief in Santa Claus or something, or belief in Jesus Christ and God and everything. And there's nothing wrong or right about that. And then it goes a little bit, goes to high school, goes to puberty, you know what I'm saying, and goes to college, and it becomes oh, I'm spiritual now. I do meditation, and I do, you know what, I do kind of like go to the Buddha and everything, and it becomes all of a sudden it's tattooing itself kind of like Ganesha, you know what I'm saying? And from the rosary, it becomes into mala beads. Well, these are actually tears of the Buddha that fell off from a tree. That's why I'm doing mala beads. It doesn't see that belief just goes underground. It becomes this mala beads. It becomes from wine to kombucha, drinking wine at church, and it becomes kombucha.
I even sat under the Bodhi tree,
Sit under the Bodhi tree.
and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
waited until a leaf
Yes,
fell
yes.
into my
I
hand.
actually took a photo shoot of me sitting on various trees, you know what I'm saying, to look like a Buddha and everything. And I have pictures of myself, looking like a Buddha with my head tilted down. Um, it's a belief in specialness, right? It's a belief that the world, the universe was made for me, that I am the center of the universe. Although it will never admit that, but it's so self centric that it thinks about nothing by itself. It's all about the self. And there's nothing wrong or right about that. In this apparent experience of separation, there's going to be this felt sense of realness, a felt sense of separation. And a felt sense of separation, there's a me app. But when the me app thinks that it's actual, it is the central, it becomes the dominant figure in this apparent reality, that it creates its own reality. It believes its own reality. It believes its own, and then it just doesn't stop there. The me wants to improve itself over and over again. It wants to upgrade. It wants to be the me 2.0, the me 2.3, and then now it becomes the me zero, kind of like Coke Zero. Still sweet, but no calories. Thank you, Lori. Thank you. Yeah, it was a collapse. It was a collapse. It was very, very yeah. It was so shocking. It was so shocking. And it was also normal at the same time. Like, oh wow, yeah. But that's just a story again, because there was no me in the first place, or no belief in the first place. You just think that you have a belief, but since thinking, it's not even happening. It comes and goes. It's temporal. Hi, Emerson. How come there are people that has gradual? Um, there are no people. But seemingly again, you know what? In this infinite expression of nothing, there's this billions of apparent, individuals that appear in the illusion, and in that expression of this infinite, there's going to be infinite possibilities. So there's going to be different, apparent awakenings, but there's really no one that awakens. In the story, the seeing sometimes, yeah, there's this. Um, I have a friend that has never heard of this, so he doesn't understand what being or being is. It's just what is. He doesn't even understand what seeking is, because he was not a seeker. It just was an accident. There's just like a lot of enjoyment for him walking um, in nature, you know what I'm saying, enjoying his kid, that kind of stuff. So it's very natural for him. It's like he said that it's like I'm not hungover anymore. So he explains it the way that, for the past, I don't know, 40 plus years or whatever, or, he felt like he was hungover. And then all of a sudden it's clear. So that's the best way that he can describe it. It's just an easiness. When usually he said, and he goes further, because when he usually has a hangover, he has a lot of regrets, he has a lot of shame, he's trapped in the thinking process, right? Oh, why did I do that last night? So the way that he explains, it's kind of like, the past 40 years, it's like there's this constant kind of like nagging, feeling that kind of like when you have a hangover, that you regret a whole bunch of stuff and it just keeps on coming back. And now there's just this no hangover, it's just clear. So it's just what's happening. Hello, Emerson. Thank you for doing this. That was the clearest description in the intro. Um, does it really matter if there's a knowledge of the me or not? Not really. You know what? If you really look at kids, you know what I'm saying? They're not struggling of losing the me. It's just what is. It's almost a curse, you know what I'm saying? The seeking, because it's this apparent getting rid of something that's not quite there. Um, but in the apparent, appearance of this, seeking appears in many different appearances. Sometimes it's seeking for money, seeking for fame, seeking for whatever it is, whatever it is. I was talking to someone that has basically achieved everything that he wanted. Has a lot of money, has a perfect, partner relationship. They have the perfect kids and everything, just really, really content. And he said, why is there something missing? What drives me to he basically messaged me and basically said, I need to talk to you because I think that I've achieved everything. And I looked at, I'm not going to mention who it is, but it was just someone that has really achieved, quite a lot. And it's actually quite fascinating. And it basically, he said that I'm the envy of a lot of people, but I'm not satisfied. What is it that that drives this? What drives this kind of like persistent? Um, I'm not satisfied. I'm not content. And here you are. He listened. I don't know which talk he listened to. Basically saying that this is contentment of whatever seems to appear, because there is this seeming kind of like belief again, right? The belief of the fluctuation. So it's either the fluctuating, kind of like saying that um, there is um, there is happiness, and then the happiness gets maintained, and when it becomes sadness, then it goes back and forth, right? So it's the maintenance of the happiness, um, but the maintenance, the persistence, basically the self improvement, the maintenance of the lie is the suffering, right? That everything is just as it is. So when there is this apparent person that has achieved everything, it's going to say, what's next? That's why if you look at billionaires, if you look at like movie stars and everything, I don't know, it's like there's this perception, or there's this illusion that they have everything. And then you'll hear somebody, it's all a story. So in the story of this apparent ups and downs, this and that, wrong or right, it's always going to be like that. There's a question here. Hey Emerson, can you elaborate on there are no others? For me, there are clearly others. Yes. Okay. All right. This is actually a question that has been asked several times. So when the apparent belief system, the when the me seemingly is seen, it was just not there. So everything that it sees, others are also not there. The best way to describe it is this. For example, there's this character here. I can't jump into your thoughts, Ron, to see that you're real. From this appearance, everything is just a perception. Everything is just this illusion. It's kind of like a nighttime dream. In a nighttime dream, everything that is seen that appears completely real is unreal, including others. No one has been able to jump into someone's thoughts and say that, hey, or no one has ever visited someone in their dream, kind of like, hey, Tej, you were in my dream last night. Do you remember what we're talking about? That doesn't happen because there's no separate dreamers. There's no one here. This is an illusion. And the moment that you shut down your computer today, there's never been any Emerson. It's just an appearance. But in the illusion, kind of like a game, kind of like in a video game, where there are, multiple characters, it's a role-playing game. The moment that I go to, Johannes, for example, Johannes will have a story about his seeking. Petra will have a story about dogs. And all of this is it seems really, really real, but it's like an AI, or it's kind of like a simulation, that everything in the simulation, it's kind of like a hologram will never figure out it's a hologram because it's interacting with holograms. So the others are also holograms. The others are also illusion. There's no separate perception. There's just this perceiver. In this case, Ron is just you perceiving things. And there's not even any Ron. So everything that you're perceiving, everyone that you're perceiving, is a perception of Ron. Since there's no Ron, everything that's perceiving is an illusion. But But this is a very felt sense realness, that there's also a felt sense realness of others. If you go to someone and say that, hey, um, Corey, you're not there, they're going to dispute you with that because it will have a storyline, it will have a character, it will have a narrative, it will have its own apparent programming. But there's no one behind any of this. There's no one behind your eyes. There's no one behind this eyes. It's just what's appearing to happen. If you want to add more to that, please go ahead. And it's usually the tricky one, right? Because someone will say that there is a seeing that there's no one here, but how come there are others? So really no one's being addressed here.
Emerson,
Oh, hi, July.
hi.
Hi.
And this will be a story as well, but
Yeah, nah,
please,
no worries.
would you
I love
please
stories.
explain? Would you please explain, yeah, the illusion, how it is possible? Uh, mm, it's difficult to describe it for me. This character here
Mm-hmm.
is able to see what will happen in the future. Yes, there's no time. But if, for example, sometimes I say to my mother, Mama, please, in 2 weeks, your friend will depart this earth. Or last week, I said to my partner, oh, this lady is dead. And on Monday, we got really, there is a so-called evidence that things happen,
Yeah.
which this character can see what
Yeah,
will
yeah, for
happen in
sure.
the next 2 weeks, or with yeah, with tarot cards as well. I think you've mentioned it as well, that you have laid down tarot cards. And how is this then possible?
Before I answer that, I'm just going to let my doggy in. Just a second, okay?
Of
She got
course,
out again. Sorry.
always.
It's so funny. She has this cry that's kind of like she's getting tortured. And when you let her in, she has this big smile, a really smug smile.
Cute.
Yeah. Um, so what seems to be happening is, is just everything is allowed to happen. There's no one here that's doing any of this, right? Um, if that's what seems to be happening, it's kind of like watching a movie. There's in the movies, there's people that fly, people that it's just an appearance. There's nothing real, nothing more real or unreal. There's nothing more real. There's no hierarchy in any of the illusions. It's just what's happening. But kind of like with the tarot card reader, it's quite easy. You know what I'm saying? To kind of like um, it's just a trickery. Everything is a trickery. I'm not really sure what was said or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It seems really realistic sometimes, but kind of like with I think the story that you're pointing to was when I went into a tarot card reader, and apparently this tarot card reader is supposed to be the best and everything, can read everything, and I tricked it and I caught it in a lie. But it seems, you know what I'm saying? For example, I'll be like, July, I sense that you've been seeking for quite a while, and there seems to be clarity now. That kind of thing, right? You can just say anything, and one of them will land. Or kind of like predicting the future, for example. In about a couple of years, there's going to be another pandemic. And you know
No,
what I'm
it
saying?
is,
And that's,
Emerson,
yeah.
to make it clear, no, it is really
Sorry,
within
go
two
ahead.
weeks, within within 2 weeks, that and that will happen. Or
Okay.
with my But my own papa, it happened too.
Okay.
Within three
I
days,
can't really
within
I
three
can't really
days,
explain
for
that. It's
example,
yeah.
yes, I'm really wondering how this can be.
I'm not really sure. I've never really encountered anything like that, to be honest, right? So it's just beyond my scope of what. But from what's seeing here, that everything is, if everything is an illusion. So even if seemingly someone has special powers or whatever, right? It's just what's happening. There's really no explanation for it. But there's no future.
I thought
Everything,
maybe
yeah.
just the information in the field, in the yeah. I
No, no,
I believe into the power of the of the body.
yeah.
I thought I thought maybe the energy field or the field has information, and you can get this information. Just it's not a
Yeah,
special thing. It's,
I'm not
how
sure
you
about
know.
that yet. From what's seen
Mm,
here, there is no hierarchy in illusions, right? It's just everything is seen as just an appearance. So that will be seen as an appearance too. I think Rosa Marain, you know what I'm saying, from, I don't know if you listened to her, she used to have a special power of reading auras. And when the apparent Rosa Marain kind of like dropped away, she lost all of that. But
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? In the apparent dream, it was very, very real for her that she had
Mm,
special powers and can read auras and stuff like that, right? I was convinced that I had city, you know, that I have special power before when I was apparently enlightened, and people were suggesting that I had a power of bringing people together. Or I don't know what it was, but I just nodded my head. You know what I'm saying? It's just an acceptance. It's the perception sometimes of what seems to be happening is sometimes really clouded, and even if it's spot on, you know what I'm saying, everything is still an illusion. There's nothing that from what's seen here anyway, there's just this seeing here that everything that can be debunked, you know what I'm saying.
mhm.
But there's nothing wrong or right, you know. There's if you really look at this, there's this appearance of this time happening, timelessness happening. There's this apparent planet that's spinning around in space. There's billions of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that's unexplainable. This is a mystery, and that's a mystery too.
Mm,
Yeah.
mhm. Okay,
Yeah. Thank you for asking
thank you.
that. But I used to be, when I was a seeker, I used to basically what I'm saying, there's no more belief in anything, in any of that. It's just what's happening. I used to jump all over the place, you know what I'm saying, when there is some, you know, astral projection, you know, remote viewing, meditating with the Merkaba, um, you know, making up the consciousness grid, the 5D, all of that stuff was very appealing. And when it's seen that everything is just an illusion, meaning that the person is seen as not really being here, then everything that it perceives, everything that it knows, all the belief system goes down the drain.
Mhm.
It's not seeking anymore for anything extraordinary or anything supernatural anymore. It just sees it as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't have any questions anymore about reality, because reality is seen as absent.
Totally.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's just that. And all of these stories can arise, and it's just what's happening.
Yeah.
I seem to get a lot of stories about special powers. You know, someone will, you know, have a I s- the video somehow triggers some people that usually believes in a lot of the dead sages and masters and everything, right? And they would challenge me sometimes in an email, and they're like, "How about this person that was seen levitating and everything?" That kind of thing, right? It's just what's happening. What about David Icke and lizards and aliens? We're going down their rabbit hole. Um, I used to listen to that surprisingly. You know what I'm saying? Again, there was this a lot of gullibility here, and a lot of, you know, it was just a really gullible character, and he gets caught up in that, and until it doesn't. I believe in Atlanteans, you know, Atlantis people. I believe in Starseed, um, And then it believes, of course, in David Icke and aliens and channeling and everything. Was really interested in the channeling thing. Well, I was teaching awareness and everything because there was still seeking energy. There must be something other than this. And Yeah, it's just a story. Everything is a story, including David Icke, lizards, and aliens. But yeah, I was at one point I listened to it religiously. Has anyone else listened to that? No. That's yeah. Thank you, Anne. If you want to talk about
I
it,
did. I have.
you
Sorry,
have.
I
Who's
went
that?
for a walk. I was
Who's that?
talking to Jonathan.
Hey, Jonathan, you listened to that too, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm into. I'm into all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, not so much anymore, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The belief in yeah, it's just this belief system, right? You know what I'm saying? That wants to figure things out. Oh, Bjorn also listened to all of that. Yeah.
But
It
still, even the new world order, and like I
yes.
still get caught up in this new financial system that's coming because it deals with cryptocurrency, and I'm
Oh
involved
yeah,
in
yeah,
that, and blah
yeah.
blah 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 blah, and it just
Yeah.
goes on and on. But
Yeah.
it's what's
Eventually,
happening right now. So
yeah, in the story when it's seen, you know what I'm saying? There's sometimes it's a gradual falling away of that, right? Because again, when you retire, you still get, you still think that you're working. And you still kind of like pay attention to that. But the apparent interest in all of that seemingly kind of like fell away. I used to, I used to, you know, I used to research the big pharma thing. You know what I'm saying? I was really obsessed with that, and trying to figure out what it was, that kind of stuff. All the conspiracy theory, the Illuminati, and all that kind of stuff. That was a long, long time ago, though.
yeah,
But I thought I was a pioneer at that, because it was new, but that's just another story. Apparently now it has gone further, right? It's about one person that I knew from that era, from that, conspiracy theory, saw one of my videos and he goes, Emerson, you're part of the Great Awakening. But it's caught up in that story thing too about the Great Awakening, that the humankind, and he was talking to me. At first I was confused what he was talking about, and again it actually connects back to that to that, kind of like David
and
Icke, New World
what's
Order.
oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
and what's trippy is that you had like a lot of Republicans going, "Oh, bringing in this new awakening," and then other people are like,
Yeah,
"Trump's the
yeah.
Antichrist," and it's like everybody has their own story, and they're all
It's all a spin.
conflicting, and it's all spin.
It's all a spin, right? You know what? I was talking to someone. That person basically said, we were talking and was talking about what's happening with the royal family and everything. He goes, but have you seen the videos of them turning reptiles? I'm like, that can easily be manipulated. He goes, it's real. It's real. All of this kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? It goes, but since you're a part of the Great Awakening, you're going to be the one that actually is going to expose all of this. You don't know it yet. I'm like, okay, all right. It's just this belief system again that there is a collective, that there are others, that there are others. When it's seen, I'll
Yeah,
use the dream
yeah.
analogy again, right? In the dream at night, everything that you dream, it either be reptiles, alien ships, um, ascended masters, superpowers. Sometimes I even dream that I'm leaping from building to building, like I have no gravity at all. The moment that it's seen, the moment that there's this sliver of awakeness after like a long night's of sleep, everything that is known crashes. It's nothing. Kind of like, it's just take fast forward. I think I talked about this in the last 5 days. Um, Kind of like fast forward into the deathbed of the apparent seeker, when there is this when there is this end, what I'm saying, ending of apparent life. Everything that it believed, everything that it knows, everything that it really held at the deathbed, it really means nothing. Nothing. Since time is an illusion, when everything meant nothing when you were born and everything means nothing when you die, what matters? Yeah. This is just a happening. This is like an illusion or a dream, and that's saying too much about what is. And it's just this It's like a wrinkle in timelessness. In this wrinkle or a fold, there's this timeless, and there's a fold, and there's this apparent, fold, and everything that is held. It's like a blink. It's like a wink. It's a momentary distortion of infinity. All of these stories, all of this stuff, and at the end, it is just nothing. But not the nothing that you know, because there's no you to know. Everything that you know is an illusion. It's the nothing that cannot be thought of. The nothing that is like deep sleep or blackout or like this. But this apparently has this apparent narrative. There's a narrator, there's a listening, there's a speaker, there's a seeker, but all of that is an illusion. Just like the family reptile video that Anne is requesting. Anne goes, I want to see the royal family reptile video. There was this exhibition of a family, the royal family, that was also shown, and I researched it further. It's just this mannequin looking, kind of like this, like just really, really looking disturbed. And I found out that it was just an exhibition of the, it's just really mannequins, but they're making it real or something. It's all a story. I don't get caught up in that anymore because there's no I to get caught up in anything. It's just, oh well, it's just what is. It's just what seems to be happening, yeah. Hi, Emerson. I really love the intro. Is there any way that you can release this on YouTube? I think it should be heard by... Sure, yeah. Yeah, why not? Why not? Thank you. Oh, thank you. July goes, how about your dreams? Do nightmares appear? You mean nighttime dreams? Everything is seen as an illusion. So there's no more dreamer. It's just this. It's just disappearance. Yeah. No nightmares actually. No nightmares whatsoever. I used to have a lot of nightmares, especially when I was seeking. There was just a lot of heaviness, a lot of heaviness. I used to yeah, a lot of death actually. Now it's just a story. There was a seeming kind of like recurring dream of death happening over and over and over again. And it was this felt sense, and yeah, like a death wish. Thank you. Hi, Emerson. What time did this start? Oh, about an hour ago, but no worries. No, you didn't miss anything at all.
But the introduction was wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Someone said, apparently that was the best introduction ever. Can you repeat it? No. I don't even remember what I talked about, to be honest. What did I talk about? Nothing really. Nothing really. I'll release the videos. Someone said, can you elaborate more about your dream? Yeah, sure, why not? So there's this apparent dream of this eternally looking guy, um, ageless, that's doing a meeting. It's talking about something. There's apparent boxes appearing everywhere. It's called Zoom, I think. There's speaking happening. Yeah, this is the dream that you want to know about. This is the dream. Sure, yeah, yeah. I'll do another montage of intro videos. I have a lot of videos actually that yeah, but some of them are too hardcore that some of them are not released. Hi, Emerson. I am so glad that you do an introduction for each and every video in your apparent retreat. I've been to many retreats and it's just they just do introduction in the beginning, and why not? There's just this enjoyment in sharing what can't be shared. That's basically it. July goes, I did a creation and was so proud of it. Now this illusion is gone. Don't feel anything about it anymore. Nobody did it. Yeah. Seemingly all of this apparent character's accomplishments, everything that it has ever done, everything that it has ever kind of like put something some kind of importance, helping others, all of that is just gone. So the end of specialness, not really, because no one really did anything. There was nothing special that I did. And especially this character, because in the early days of spiritual teaching, it had a really good track record of helping others, and it ruined it all at the end. So there's nothing special in the accomplishments and also in the failures. Both are seen as an illusion. Except that, reminder of my mom that I used to win dance competitions when I was a kid. Can you say something about intention? If you want to expand more on that, Anna, please go ahead. I'm not really. What's your intention, Anne? Please, please, if you would like to expand more on that. Intention. Hmm. I don't even know. You mean agenda? Intention is just what seems to appear. It's just another illusion that seems to. Yeah, I don't really know what intentions are. Yeah, it's just what is. But there are no intentions because intentions is just another illusion.
I don't know, I guess.
Yeah. Hi, Anne.
Hi,
Hi.
Emerson.
Hello.
But it's like a plan.
Oh, a plan.
So you, so you plan these retreats. So there's an intention.
There's an illusion of someone planning it or whatever, but this is just happening automatically. There was no
Mm,
before. So what seems to have, as an idea of a planning or something, there's just this appearance. Actually, this is the easiest thing to do because there's really no preparation for these talks. Whatever comes out
mm,
comes out. It's like DJing for me. When I usually DJ, I kind of like I don't really create a playlist, but I can like set a title for it. For example, if it's a wedding, it's going to be kind of like bright and dancey. If it's an underground club at like 7 o'clock in the morning, it's going to be dark and
mm,
thumpy. so this one, I just the reason I usually just put titles so I just don't repeat the same thing. So the title
mm.
for this one is um, the end of self-improvement, the advanced version. That's
Okay.
it. It's just a title, and then it just goes. It just flows. It just flows, and there's no yeah. It's just no. It's just free flowing. There's this yeah. There's just this free flowing,
Mm.
and sometimes
Just can't get.
I forget to send emails to people.
Mhm. Mm. I just can't get a sense of that not being, not no no plan, no intention,
What
nothing
seems to
gets
be
done.
happening here is also the same as happening there, but you just think that there is someone planning, that
Mm,
someone's doing. It's the same.
mm,
There's just this belief
mm,
that you have to prepare, you have doing this and everything. So what seems
mm,
to be, and this is just a story, what seems to be different here is that there is just this automaticness here. It doesn't think
mm,
of anything prior or further. You know what I'm saying? It's just what's happening. So it's just an automatic
mm,
apparent appearance of this talking. And all
mm,
that there is really is this. There's nothing outside of
mm,
this. And everything that
mm,
is mentioned that seems to be outside of this is also in this. So there's a story of planning, there's a story of
mm,
setting up time, there's a
mm,
story of this, but it's all a story because all that there is this.
mm.
Yeah.
But okay, but here as well, that intention and planning and
Mm.
self-improvement,
Yeah.
they, it's goal setting. It's
It
kind of
is. It is. Well,
um,
the goal setter, the self improver,
mm, mm,
is a persistent planner to maintain itself.
mm,
It's a maintenance, right? It's a maintenance that I am here, or
mm,
that whatever it is, it's just maintaining the reality that this is really
mm,
really happening. So when there's
mm,
this relaxation, there's no one doing
mhm,
here. It's just an
mm,
easiness. It's just a relaxed seeming happening.
mm,
I used to work with spiritual teachers, and when we used to do events, it was a lot of going back and forth. They'll be like, "Can you make my font, letter bigger than yours? Can I send you a
mm,
different picture?" When I started,
mhm,
with Nothing Media and just with Tony and Jim, and there was just so much ease. It was just like it was just so much fun because there's no how do you, there's just a lot of humility in it. Yeah, there's no specialness.
mm. I just find it really difficult to think of things getting done, but I guess it's the ego thing. It's being used to being around people who want things done in a
Yeah,
particular way,
yeah,
and not being happy unless it is
yeah.
done that way, um,
But when
and
it's
being
seen,
taught
yeah, but when it's
that.
seen that there's really no others and it's whatever is
Mm,
appearing, even if it seems difficult or whatever, is just what is.
mm,
It's just innocence, and there's no no seeing that there's any motivation behind it or there's no ill will or something, right? It's just seen as a happening.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
It
yeah,
it's like
yeah, yeah.
it's like when you dream at night, you know what I'm saying, and there's this dream that was difficult, you don't think about it the whole day the next day. It's just what's
Mm,
happening. Yeah.
mm,
And there's a seeming kind of like, instant letting go. Although no one's letting
mm,
go of what seems to be happening because it just I described it before kind of like when you used to have a pan, you're cooking some breakfast and you have an egg and you have a really old rusty pan, back from the 90s or something, and the egg always gets stuck, and it's really really sticky. Seemingly, what happened is there was seemingly kind of like this is a Teflon pan now, so everything just slides.
oh, okay.
Everything just kind of like okay, that was really easy. Um,
Yeah.
there's no more stickiness to anything that whatever is happening.
I
it
guess
doesn't it
when.
doesn't take things seriously anymore. The seriousness
Mm,
is it's laughing again. It forgot
mhm,
to laugh for quite a while because it was just neurotic and like I gotta get this and everything, and
mm,
it was just very serious about seeking. It was just very serious about maintaining itself.
mhm,
Kind of like what I talked about earlier. Seeking is just a very kind of like it's seeking is a self improvement in disguise.
mm. Yeah.
It's just extreme
Mhm,
extreme as self improvement. To lose the
mhm,
self is just an improvement.
mm, mm. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just it is a bit like
Yeah.
a defense.
It
It,
is
it it's like
a
um.
self defense
So it,
mechanism, isn't it? Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So a bit. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just what
Mm,
is, right? It's just what is. It's just
mhm,
whatever it is. And there seems to be
mm,
just a relaxing. It's not, it's nothing special, but there seems to be a very relaxed apparent character, and that there's
mhm,
just this whatever is happening is just as it is. There's laughter.
mm,
There's a
mhm.
winking at the joke.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think here what happens is there's a really strong sense. So there's a relaxation, and then there's like, I need to defend, and then there's a
Yeah.
relaxation, and it's like it's like that.
Mm.
So yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, it's again it's the apparent oscillating. No one even noticed it, but when there's seemingly sometimes when a me collapses, there was no me to collapse, but there seems to be kind of like a going back and forth, right? It notices the apparent patterns. It's just patterns of there's this
Mhm,
kind of like easiness, and all of a sudden it's really heaviness, easiness, heaviness,
mhm,
easiness, heaviness. So when it's
mhm,
seen that that is an illusion, that this fluctuation is just a happening and an unhappening at the same time, then there's a disbelief now, right? You're like, okay, that what seems to go on, right? It's not held to anymore something really serious. It's kind of like
mm,
the con is seen through. The scam is
mm,
just been exposed, right? Okay, that's the scam. There's this apparent ups and downs, and whatever it is, you know what I'm saying, is just what is. It's not separate
mm,
from what is.
mhm, mm.
So even if there's this what did you say earlier, there's this eastness, and what's the other one? I can't remember.
Oh, defense. Yeah,
Defense. Even defense is
yeah,
also what is. What's wrong with
yeah.
that? It's just what's happening,
Mm,
but there's no you to defend.
mm, mm,
It's just what is. It's just if you really look at it, you know what I'm saying, well, there's no you, but if it's really seen, all of these appearances are just sensations that we tend to put any labels on it. We tend to
mm,
put defense or eastness, but it's just like it's like putting a label on clouds.
mm,
We do label clouds actually. For example, it's just clouds like rolling by, and you're like, it's that cloud is called defense. That cloud is
mm,
called eastness. That cloud over there is clarity. That cloud over there
mm,
is confusion. It's all clouds. They're nothing really. It
mm,
passes.
mm,
It's just everything passes. Everything is in constant motion. Everything that's in constant motion is an illusion.
mm,
Whatever's inging is illusioning. But it's also
mm,
what is. It's
mm,
emptiness appearing as an ing. Whatever it is, singing, defensing,
mm,
dancing, crying, laughing.
mm,
It's just what is. Yeah.
mm, mm,
Stunning.
mm. Okay.
Thank you, Anne.
Yay. Thank
Yay.
you, Emerson. Thank you.
Could you please confirm the times for Sunday and Monday? It's the same as yesterday, but let me see if I can post it. Just a moment here. It's the exact same time as yesterday. I can't find it. Sorry. Um, there it is. Sorry. I'll post it here so that you know what it is. There it is. And is it then that what is doesn't move or change, kind of just changes appearance? It's both movement and stillness appearing simultaneously. But the movement is the illusion, and the stillness is the permanence. So it's the permanence and the impermanence happening all at once. Again, they're just these labels of trying to figure out something that doesn't really have any kind of definition. It's this. This is the what is. The what is this is the emptiness appearing as this movement, the color gray, red hat. Susie fixing her hair. It's what is. Ilyana with her blanket. So it's the emptiness, the stillness appearing as movement, appearing as motion. There's no separation. So emptiness and movement are not separate. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Emerson.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Um, I was just thinking about music. Actually, it's almost like it's the immediacy of a string vibrating.
Yes.
It's because it's movement, but it's only happening now instantaneously. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
it's just funny. And actually, I wanted to ask you this: you have posted this beautiful video, the wow video.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did you make the music on that?
No, I tried to play the piano. I know how to play the piano piece, but it was available on YouTube, so it doesn't.
Okay.
They have their own thing, but yeah, I played it. Um, I like playing piano, but it was a little bit noisy. You know, what I'm saying when I recorded
Okay.
it, I didn't have the proper recording equipment, so I found it on YouTube, and I'm like, perfect.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's not my own
Very beautiful.
composition. So it was someone else's. I like composition by Nils Fromm, Olafur. Um, I love contemporary piano pieces. I used to
Yeah.
when I was a kid. I used to play piano over a movie and create recreate the soundtrack.
Ah,
I had
great.
this I have this really funny story. I have this Korg M1, which is this synthesizer back from the 90s, and I
Mhm.
worked, you know, for about a month and you know, recreating this soundtrack for Batman. And then I was like ready, you know, saying kind of like I invited my friends, my family, and I played it. And after like a couple of minutes, everyone talked over it. It was just, and I was like, oh, I worked on that. So because there was an apparent hurt character, it stopped doing it. I'm like, ah. But seemingly now there's just this enjoyment. So I think I'll release some of my own compositions soon. Um,
Great.
yeah,
I
yeah.
would love to hear
There's
that.
just
Yeah.
this. It just I love playing. Like sometimes I play like from 10 o'clock to like 3 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it's just this.
Wow.
Just and I should record some of it, but it's I keep on forgetting to record because there's really no audience.
It would be wonderful to hear.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
But actually, just to get back to this resonance thing, it's so, I don't know why this popped up, but it just seems that there's so much alike music actually because of
Yes,
the immediacy in music. Music
yes,
is only except when if you have listened to a piece of music and you know it, so
yeah,
now you expect or you know that this comes after that and so on.
yeah.
But the
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 immediacy of it.
immediate,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And this
into
is not a
listening.
technique or anything, but when I listen to music, I really pay attention to it because I'm a DJ, right? So I listen for the beats, I listen for the melody, I listen for the chord progression, I listen to what key it is, and so there's no place for a me there.
No,
So there's always a seeing that no one is DJing. Or when you're playing piano, you know what I'm saying? It's so intimate and it's so intricate, right? It's just this there's just this aliveness in it. There's just this aliveness in playing music, especially DJing because you're dealing with some I DJ with a 4 channel track, right? So there's
mhm,
4 songs that I'm paying attention to. And then when one song is about to finish, I'm on to the next one, you know, looking at the tracks or changing different stuff or kind of like creating some different stuff. So when, and it all comes together. So there's just no room. It's just this, it's really busy. And so
yeah,
so there's no thoughts happening. You know what I'm saying? There's just this, it's just, and I love it. I love kind of like, you know, I love the magic of it, of kind of like, oh, you know what? There's this song that will fit perfectly for that. Although there's no memory, it just magically appears. And then when there's this creation, like a mashup happening, kind of like using kind of like an old, kind of like, you know, disco song, and then taking all the vocals away, and then there's new vocals coming in. It's brilliant. You know what I'm saying? It's just this instant creation.
yeah.
It's like this. It's like this communication. What seems to be and this is really funny because um I was talking to my friend about, you know, talking about this. He goes, how does it feel? I'm like, it's like DJing. This is kind of like remixing all of the apparent, statements like nothing is happening, kind of like what I mentioned earlier. I think what was the title of that? The End of Self-Improvement, but I took it in a different twist. It's a remix.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it still is the
Right.
same. You know what I'm saying? It's still the same essence, and it's just different words and sounds and whatever. It's a remix. It's a mashup.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's music.
It's music. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, well, just nice to talk about that. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
Anita.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. When I'm also DJing, I have this same smile that I'm doing right now because there's enjoyment in it, right? There's just enjoyment in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lord, yeah, I'll try. I'll try. It's just a hard setup. It's just a hard setup. I need, maybe I'll order some wires or something to kind of like connect. I don't have speakers for it, so I usually just use my headphone. That's why the recording was quite difficult because I was trying to record it on a MIDI thing. Um, but yeah, I'll figure it out. I've been singing a lot too. So singing is happening too. If you go to Kenneth's meeting, sometimes he plays the guitar, and I love it when he does that. Hi, Emerson. That introduction earlier made me sob. It rang true. Thank you, thank you. Oh, thank you. Sorry for making you sob. Oh, when there was this scene that it was just everything that I was doing. There's no I, but everything that this character was doing in the seeming past was just really a maintenance of that illusion. Going to doing a whole bunch of stuff, breath work, all the everything, all the learning, all the teaching, all the knowing, all of the it just was a circular, never-ending, cyclical maintenance of the me improving itself as whatever, and it was just this never-ending. It was just never-ending. It was just kept on going and going and going, and it's like an obsessive lover that keeps on longing and longing and longing. And Petra's sharing was beautiful too. Yes, it was. Thank you, Petra, too.
Hey, Emerson, can you hear me? It's Jonathan.
Emerson, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. Hey, Jonathan.
Oh, okay. I thought it was me because I'm
No.
walking and the reception isn't great. Okay, I figured. Oh, I must have gotten disconnected. Well, I was just appreciating the like metaphor of the uh, of the lover, the obsessed
Yeah.
lover. My wife and I, we usually watch like documentaries or like fantasy or I don't know, just different stuff. But last night we were watching the musical. I'm spacing out the name, but with the Jets and the Sharks and Tony and
Oh, the West Side Story.
West Side Story.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
right.
yes, yes.
And it's really fun musical, and we were both surprisingly really enjoying it. But it's that. We were talking about that because Tony's like, I'm gonna like he just met this girl, and he's like, I'm gonna love you forever, you know, and that
Yes, yes,
infatuation, that
yes,
pining. And I
yes.
was remembering being like that with girls when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and then being like that as a spiritual seeker. I mean, when I
Yes,
grew, I mean, I was
exactly.
crazy. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
It is. It is. And it's just this unrequited love. You're,
It's the
and it's just
same
this
energy. It's the
obsession. It's the
same.
same energy. Yeah. It's just this. It just becomes this obsession, right? This obsession to yeah. It yeah. It is. It is. It is. It's like basically and it keeps on waiting for that I think I said it was like the happily ever after, right? But it keeps on missing out on the unconditional love that is always on offer.
Yeah, yeah. It's this
Because
believed in lack that is
that's
just
right.
so overwhelming, and it's so the me. It actually,
Oh, you're cutting
Parsons
out
was
there,
speaking about it.
Jonathan.
Hey, uh, okay, I'll say goodbye. Yeah, yeah,
No, 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 no. Keep on going. I'm enjoying what you're saying, but it just comes in and out. If you can repeat it, that'll be
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Unfortunately, can you hear me? I apologize,
It's
everyone.
perfect now. It's perfect now.
Okay. Well, no, at Tony's meeting today, someone asked him about love and how, that seems blah, blah, blah. And he was saying that it's a need. It was reflecting the same thing, that it's this need of the me. It has nothing to do with this unconditional love, but
No.
it's a want, a
Yes.
lacking of that's only a story of separation.
It is. It's longing. It thinks it's missing something, so it's longing for something. It's waiting. You know what I'm saying? It's so it comes comes up with stories of despair and desperation, thinking it has a loss. It lost the beloved, right? That it's longing for. So that intro was kind of like an homage to Tony, but I was not in the meeting, so I'm kind of happy that it kind of like coincided. I was walking my doggy, and I was talking to someone in the breakout room afterwards about something I can't remember now what it is. But thank you, thank you for pointing that out, Jonathan. Yes, it is. Seeking is just this. It's this obsessive energy, and there's nothing wrong or right about that. Some people call it passion. uh, Jeffrey B, you're transmitting the flame of awareness right now. Thank you. Oh, Jeffrey, is that what you mean when you are talking to someone? You were saying that you saw someone with this. I think we talked about that before, Jeffrey.
With somebody who kind of seems to have a glow, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I was just kind of being silly because you said before
Good.
that you can't really transmit.
No.
I don't know if that's true. There might be kind of by osmosis, but you
Yeah.
said before this can't like transmit something that.
It's already here. This is
Right.
already
Okay.
this. Yeah, and sometimes in the perception, right? Kind of like I basically said, I think it's kind of like when I saw someone kind of like Michael Jackson. When there's this, you see a light. You know what I'm saying? You see something, and then there's this specialness. Or people faint. You know what I'm saying? If you've been to a Michael Jackson concert back in the 90s or 80s or something, um, there's so many people that fainted, as if they're looking at a saint, right? There's just
Oh.
this fanaticism. Watch some of his stuff, and it's like, I think my eardrum was gone for quite a while because there was so much shrieking and fainting and everything, because there's this idolatry in seeming characters like
Right.
that Michael Jackson
Well,
gurus or something.
could be that he was an undiagnosed Buddha.
There's no undiagnosed Buddha.
Oh.
It's just a perception. It's just a perception. Someone met me. Someone met me in person one day, and she said, "I'm standing with the Buddha." I'm like, "Nope, sorry." It's just a perception.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone that doesn't know anything about spirituality will just see a really stylish, good looking dude. I'm just joking.
Yeah. Well, yesterday after the talk, I was swim at a swimming pool, and
Oh, nice.
I really like, for whatever reason, well, I mean, because of the talk, I guess, but I started to look at, I don't know, I just had this perception of my life as a story, as the way you always, as you always describe it. And that was maybe the first time I saw that in that truly a story
Yeah.
kind of fashion. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It
I don't,
is. It is.
and then it seems like something I want to try and maintain that. Oh yeah, I was going to ask you if, do you feel like it is, uh, in a way you're detaching from the story, a certain amount of detachment that
It's not really about detachment because there's no one to detach, right? It's actually the
right.
wholeness, that the story that's appearing, this stillness that's appearing, is just this, right? So it's not a detachment. It's not creating something, because detachment is just another illusion because there's no one detaching. So it's actually the wholeness. It is seen as a
It's
story,
actually
but
wholeness
there's
rather
no
than
one.
detachment.
Yes, it's wholeness actually. It's for
I
example
better
the
write this
moment.
down.
What's that?
I better write this down.
Okay. Okay. Here's more transmission. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, thanks. No, but sorry, I interrupted you. You're saying it's the kind of the wholeness rather than
Yeah,
the
it's
sense
it's
of
just
detachment.
it's just the wholeness, right? The moment that the I, have this story, it's just this, it's this singularity as an illusion, not separate but whole.
Yeah, the singularity in entirety as an illusion,
The
and
entirety,
even
everything that you think
using those.
about, everything that you see, all the illusion, all the emptiness, all the beliefs, all the and when it's seen that the entirety is a story, it's an illusion, it's whole, because there's no I, that all the belief, all of the ideas seem to get drained out. It autocorrects. It's just this, because an idea and a story kind of like creates more ideas and stories about what is. So when it's seen as it is, everything just autocorrects and becomes what is. There's no more questions. There's no more trying to. There's no more longing. Kind of like what. There's no more obsession about what is. It's just what is.
Yeah, because the longing can happen for, like, for example, seeing it as a singularity that is, um, for a story or whatever. Um, it can easily turn into like trying to maintain that.
Oh yeah, totally, totally, yeah, totally. It's just maintenance, right? What seems to be happening is just maintenance of this apparent illusion to maintain that it's true. But true or false are just words, are just labels of something that doesn't have a reality. It's just another description of something that cannot really be described. This cannot be described. And the storyteller will come in and basically say, well, this is, a meeting and this and that. And then there's also this clarity that there's no one meeting here. There's no meeting happening. It's just what is. Everything is just empty, 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 and empty. And it's just this and this and this and this. That's saying way, way too much.
Yeah, I like how you said back in Toronto that there is no source, but that's where the kind of a duality comes in, when you feel like there's a source somewhere,
But only in Toronto, there's no source. I'm
Yeah,
just
right.
joking. Yeah, there's no source. There's this sourcelessness. Again, it's really easy, kind of like what I was saying in the beginning. It's so easy for this to go underground, right? Into kind of like something that's almost really subtle. Like, for the belief in the source. And that's just basically the belief in me. that there's a source, because the idea of source comes from a me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The idea
Like
of
a
a higher
soul.
me, a soul, a source, a God, you know what I'm saying? All of this kind of stuff is just the underground, you know what I'm saying? It just goes really sneakily, you know, and it emerges as, you know, and if I get the giggles sometimes listening. Someone keeps on sending me some of other speakers' videos, and I just I just giggle because it's coming from an idea now. Now it's coming from a source. Now it's coming from something that is declared as the truth, declared as, you know, this is the only one. It reminds me of church. It reminds me of a pastor. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like, you know, that swears on the Bible that this is true.
Yeah.
The source. Yeah. I have the truth.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So when it's sourceless, when there's this free flowing, there's openness, it's so relaxing, it's so nice. It's not contracted, and there's no one to convert. There's no agenda. It's just in love.
Yeah.
It doesn't
And
have any purpose. Yeah. Not obsessive, but just in love. Yeah. It's always in honeymoon period.
well, that sounds great. But
Well, that's just a
not
story. That's
actually,
just a story. That's just a story. There's just this. It's just that, you know, it's seemingly in the morning. It's whatever it is, right? So it doesn't try to. Maybe that's a wrong analogy or something, but it is what it is. There seems to be an apparent unconditional in loveness to what is.
well, that's why it makes a difference. Like, it's just kind of a sense of awe, I suppose. Where
Yeah.
it's not, instead of a sense of blah, like it's very ordinary. Like
There's this
sometimes you say
unconditional
it's
awe
very
to it,
ordinary.
right? Yeah, there's just this unconditional awe to this. It's not really about highs and lows and everything. Everything is just seen as just ordinary, right? So it's in love with the ordinary.
Okay.
It's in love with walking. It's in love with sipping tea. You know, it's in love with whatever it is, right? There's just this. It's because it's not separate. It's not longing anymore.
What if it's almost like a storyteller writing a
Yes.
story and kind of like enamored with writing,
Yes.
creating,
Yeah.
creating. I wonder if
Yeah.
we could call this creation.
Well, it's really uncreated. So this apparent creation that's happening is uncreated.
Oh, you mean it's empty? I think
It's
is what
empty,
it is.
yeah. Everything is empty, yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that it was the it's been 2 hours. Sorry. We're yeah. I know it's been 2 hours already. Wow. I got yeah, we'll be back in 2 hours. Empty perfect lover.
Thank you, Emerson.
Thank you so much, everyone. That was
Thank
fun.
you, Emerson.
That was so much fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.